doing a terrific job in Weber County getting the word out and has some really great guests on his podcast. From what I could tell, Ignacio, and you'll have to fill us in on the details, Ignacio is a native of Monterrey, Mexico. He and his family have lived in Washington Terrace since about 2012. He's a Republican who likes to talk about conservative issues. He's a business owner now and owns his own graphic design business. So he will be speaking to us. We also have Luis Lopez in the center here behind me. You know Luis from the Ogden City Council. If I recall correctly, you were elected in 2015. Is that correct?
I think so.
I think so. Okay. All right. Wasn't sure if I had that correct or not. But he's been on the city council since 2015, and he's currently vice chair of the council. He was born and reared in Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico. He immigrated to the U.S. at the age of 19 and became a U.S. citizen in 2008. He and his wife, Judy, have 3 children. He is a graduate of Weber State University with a bachelor's degree in teaching and went on to earn a master's University of Utah in education, leadership, and policy. In education for 19 years, 10 of those years were with Ogden School District as a youth mentor and community programs coordinator. Right now, he is the director of the Community Education Center for Weber State University that you see as you drive down 26th Street. That's Luis Lopez home, away from home. So we're grateful to have Luis with us. Luis, I've known since my first run for office in 2018, and Luis is a champion of inclusivity, and I really love him for that, and he's doing great things in our community. And last but not least, we have here Sebastian Benitez, who has been a resident of Ogden for 25 years. He ran against Mike Caldwell in the Ogden mayoral race in 2015. And then he ran again recently, 2021, against Bart Blair for the Ogden City Council, narrowly lost that race. So I'm encouraged, and I hope he is, to try this again. So I think the third time will be the charm for him. He's a local business owner. He is a native of Paraguay. I was interested to read that he spoke 4 languages before he moved to Utah. So he now speaks 5 and learned English on his own. He was the son of a sailor and lived in 9 countries before coming to America. And he and his wife are the parents of 5 boys. So delighted to have you 3 with us. What we're going to do is divide up the time we have here. If each of you could take maybe 10 minutes and tell us a little bit about yourself. And the focus of our event today, of our luncheon, was to talk about Latino political involvement. What got you involved in politics? What can you tell us about Latinos, the Latino community in Weber County? How can we help as fellow conservatives to get Latinos involved? Okay, so Luis, you want to go first?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
I'm going to go have you come up here, and then at the end, I'm hoping we have maybe 10, 15 minutes for Q&A.
Okay. Get to stand right here in the center, huh? All right. Well, good afternoon, or afternoon. Thank you so much for inviting me, Lorraine. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here. As Lorraine said, my name is Luis Lopez, and my bio is just a little tiny bit outdated. So I recently, just a few months ago, I was promoted to Executive Director for Outreach and Community Education for continuing education. And so now I oversee more than the center that we have here on 26th and Monroe, which is called the Community Education Center. Now I oversee 3 other centers, one in West, it's called the West Center, one in Farmington Station, and another one in Morgan. And I owe Ann Milner an apology because she couldn't get into one of the centers the other day, and I got a call from my boss about that. But it's on my to-do list and to fix that, okay? I know. So a little bit about me. I was born in Mexico. I was born in the city of Guadalajara. Guadalajara is the second city in the country of Mexico. And I left that city and came to the U.S. in 1997 when I was 19 years old. And so I've now been here in Utah and in the U.S. for about 10 years, right? Okay, that would make me 35, so that's a lie. I've been here about 25 years, and I just, I for a little time when I was here, my family had a little savings when we came here, and we opened up a small restaurant, and that only lasted for a very short amount of time because we didn't have good administration skills, and so the restaurant didn't survive. And then I started working different jobs, doing construction primarily. I used to do HVAC. I used to load shingles, work for fast food restaurants, worked at Fresenius, and then I met a person that became my mentor. His name is Kevin Kuykendall. He was a principal. He was an assistant principal at Ben Lomond High School for a while, and then he became the principal of junior high school in Ogden of Mount Ford. And he became my mentor, and he's the one that got me into education. And so I met him. I switched jobs from working in construction, went to work in education, which is the best thing that's ever happened to me. Working in education, because anyone that's worked in education knows that it's just a very fulfilling career. Especially in the work that I do in the community and getting to help underrepresented, disadvantaged community members, which is very, very fulfilling. So I love my work. I started working at Mount Ford, worked for 6 years running a program called Colors of Success. That program, we helped at-risk youth. I had a caseload of kids that sometimes were in trouble, and I was their mentor and their tutor and worked with their families. For the last 4 years, I was running a program called SCOPE, and School and Community. I need to say what it means, because then people think about mouthwash, and that's not what it is. It stands for School and Community in Ogden Partnering for Excellence. So we try to transform a traditional middle school into a community school, and basically all that meant was that we wanted to bring resources from outside of the school, non-academic, to help kids do better in the academics. And if that meant connecting them with medical services or social services or things like that, tutoring, that was my job for the last 4 years of the school district. And now I've been at Weber State for about 10 years. And when I was hired on and was still the president. And so I talked a little bit about my position change from the director to executive director. I ran for city council in 2015. And the reason why I ran for the city council is because, I come from a background where I've had to face a lot of challenges as an immigrant in this wonderful, beautiful country that I call my own now. And I understand those struggles, and I'm a cultural bridge person. I bridge cultures, especially our American culture, our traditional American culture, and our Hispanic culture. That's kind of what I specialized in. And bridging cultures means a lot of things, right? So I helped the schools with parent engagements because they had a hard time connecting with the Hispanic communities. I help in parent-teacher conferences. Now for Weber State, Weber State now just announced a new goal in their strategic plan to try to become a EHSI, which stands for Emerging Hispanic Serving Institution. We have about 10-12% Hispanic population now, and we want to make it to 15%, and that would make Weber State to be an emerging Hispanic serving institution. And then if we make it to 20 or 25, I can't remember which one it is, then there's a lot of support from the federal government in terms of funding that could help us with the students that we serve. So So that's what I do. I bridge cultures. Before I went to the city council. Can we do a time check, Lorraine? How much time I have? Oh, okay. Okay, cool. I'm doing well. I usually keep my phone with me. So before I ran for city council, I founded an organization called LUPEC. And LUPEC stands for Latinos United Promoting Education and Civic Engagement. And we operate here in the Ogden area. And it's been very hard to get that organization going. It's a nonprofit. It's been very hard. We've been so fortunate to get support from United Way of Northern Utah. Tim, what's his last name? Jackson. Tim Jackson from United Way. He's been so great to us to help us. And before I got on the council, we organized a few meetings and we met with the city council before I became a council member. And we had a contingency of Hispanic community members at the city council before I became a city council member. And they had that on the news, and they called that the largest Hispanic contingency ever at the Ogden City Council. There was just packed, full. It wasn't me. It was a contingency and a group of people that came together from different groups, and it was really exciting because the council was going to recognize Hispanic Heritage Month, and so there were more than 200 people probably in those chambers, and then I also had another what I consider to be very important, significant connection with another group, another organization. It was the Ogden City Police Department. So we also organized a meeting with them between the police department and the Hispanic community, and we met at their in their department, and we had lunch. And LUPEC bought lunch for the police, and because the police often says, and it's true, right, that they also have a hard time. Just like the schools have a hard time connecting with the Hispanic community, the police has a hard time connecting with the Hispanic community and with other underrepresented groups. And so at that point, now they're doing a lot better. They're doing really well because they hired a person that is only dedicated for that purpose, and they're doing really well. But back then, it was a little harder. So we had a lunch with them, and again, I invited members from the community. We met with the police department. It was very interesting because I brought like 15 or 20 friends with me, and we were at a room like this one, and all the cops were on one end, and all the Hispanic community was on another end, and you could feel this tension. You could feel this, right? And I had to break that. So I don't remember how I did it, but I just got in and started talking and started thanking people. And and then we had a great lunch. We had a great conversation. When I met with the city council before I was on the council, I invited them to. We had a really nice meeting at the workroom of the council chambers, and then after that, we said, let's have another meeting. We need to talk more with you guys. We want to do more. And then we went and met at a restaurant. We went to a restaurant called Mi Puebla. So we had about 35 people from the Hispanic community met with the Ogden City Council. We had a work session. We talked about issues and things important for the community. So that's what I've done all my professional career here in Ogden. Now I've been on the council for 6 years. But that's why I decided to run, because I love what I do and I want to make a difference. Just like anyone that runs for office, if you ask them, that's probably the first thing they say, right? Why do you run for office? Because I want to make a difference. I want to make a difference. I want to help my community. So that's exactly why I did it. And I've been somewhat successful in some areas. And then when you run for office and you get into office, you realize how hard it is to change things, right? How hard it is to ship the boat. But there are a lot of things that happen sometimes internally that people don't see. And sometimes people misinterpret that, because I remember I said that one time and someone took it the wrong way and said, oh, you're doing stuff behind closed doors. And, well, it's like, yeah, things have to be transparent. And that's not really what I meant, right? So there are a lot of things that happen behind the scenes that people don't see. And that's probably most of what I've been doing, is behind the scenes work to help change the culture in our government so that we have a more transparent government, a more open government, more engaging government. Now, have we been able to accomplish it? Probably not the way we would like to, but everything is everything. You know, our administration has their own perspective. There are great things happening in Ogden. We have a great relationship. The city council and the administration has a great relationship. We do have our issues. We debate issues. We debate issues hard. Sometimes openly, sometimes internally, but we debate issues hard. We've had our run-ins, right, with the mayor and everything, but we still have to figure out a way to get together, to get things done, to be respectful. And so I feel like we've been able to do that. And whenever we're having these conversations at the council, sometimes we have our debates, sometimes we might be talking about difficult issues. And from time to time, when that's happening, sometimes at the end of the meeting, someone says, you know, this is a hallmark of this council and this administration. We debate issues. Sometimes we don't agree with each other. We may go at it a little hard, but at the end, really, I can really honestly tell you at the end, we're friends. We're friends. And that's what I like about local politics too. I always tell people that it will be really hard for me to think, you know, because people sometimes ask me, and it will be really hard for me to think about politics beyond local politics because of the partisan nature. It's just really difficult. It's not a secret. Everybody knows how divided the country is. And so that's hard for me. It's very hard. So that's why I enjoy what I do. And I think I'll probably stop right there. And are there going to be questions later? Later? Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I am short guy. That is why I don't want to stand next to Mike Caldwell or Blake Moore, you know. Okay, my name is Sebastian Benitez. I am coming from South America, the little country named Paraguay. I am living here 22 years, not 25. 22 years. Yeah, sorry. I raised with my father, and my mother was in the medical school for many years, and I don't have the blessing I have many people have raising with a mother, you know. And I hope you have a really nice Mother's Day yesterday. We have. When I decided to marry, I said all my family, my children will raise with a mother. And I got it. My 5 boys raised with a mother. I am married for 32 years. We moved here 22 years. I own my business for 25 years, but here in Ogden for almost 14 years. When we moved here, I feel the inspiration with my wife, we need to move to Ogden. I leave my business in Paraguay under my brother-in-law responsibility, and we move here. I never know why in that time, but during the time I was learning why, you know. It's still many questions about it. I never think to run for any kind of political things. In 2015, 15 minutes before close the time, I go with my wife, I sign it, and I challenge Mike Caldwell. He's a great guy. And I challenge the most popular mayor in Utah, the taller man, really tall man. And I never think about debate. I never think about many things because political thing is not my part, you know. Anyway, we had the first, I remember, maybe Luis remember too, we had the first debate, and I stand next to Mike Caldwell, like, this is the big challenge for me, you know. And I said, this is the big change. You can have it the bigger, the taller, or the shorter one. Anyway, and I sign it because I feel I have to do that one. He don't have an opponent for his second term. Many things have to improve in our city. Many things. And I said, okay, I have to make the message. And that is the point why I sign it. We need to improve. And the point I was making at that time, I made 7 points and I got a 5. Police department, raise for the police department, park, restroom in the park, sidewalk, many things I mentioned in that time. And I know I will lose. I will lose, But I made the point. But after that, I continue participating. Luis Lopez know me very well. I continue knocking the door and talking about the problem, and I am annoying. Sometimes I feel they hate me, but it's part of the democracy. I come from dictatorship country for 35 years, and before the congressman leave, I want to mention Blake. I want to mention to him before he leave. Yeah. 1.5 years ago, we start texting with him about Paraguay. Paraguay have a lot of problem with the COVID-19 and the vaccine too. And he helped me, in some way, he helped me to get 2 million doses for Paraguay. And that was a year ago. Thank you so much for your help. We get that one, and they send 1 million. And after 6 months, they send the other 1 million for the second dose. Thank you. You can go eat now.
What an awesome team. A lot of that work gets done with our staff, and Hannah's here for my staff.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your participation. Right. That is my fight. For something I see we need to improve, we need help, and that is the thing why I ran a game in last November. And in the first time I get 22%, I was thinking I can get 500 votes only around my neighbor, And I got it almost 2,000 votes. Last election, I got a 47%. And the people know better Sebastian now. I am running my business around the Ogden and Weber County, and many people know me, and they understand the same thing. We had to make the point and fight for the point, or continue working for that stuff, And we have a big challenge now, and I was texting Luis Lopez the last time. We have 33% Hispanic population in Weber County. We have just one Hispanic in the city council. And I told him, we need you to run the next time for mayor. We need the first Hispanic in the mayor in Ogden, He don't decide. But my point about the Spanish is, we are here, we are not just numbers. We are human. We are growing this country. Spanish is the second language more popular in the United States. Now you have the big challenge to learn. Doesn't matter your age. You have to learn Spanish. It's the heaven language. Nah, just kidding. But the point is, we need now a few change. And I wish, and I am working with that point too. Like I mentioned before, Ogden needs some Hispanic mayor. Know what happened, I know I will not run for mayor. I wish Luis ran for mayor. I will help him. I will support him. But that is not the point. The point is, we need to, America, you recognize many things about the Hispanic population. And Weber County, we need at least one more city council Hispanic. That is why I ran the last time, because our voice matter. But the problem is the Hispanic population is just 2% participating in every single election. We need to work more and more and more with our people, the Spanish-speaking people. And I am working in that one too. Let me know the time, please, the 10 minutes. Yeah, I don't like when the people lose, they lost the election, and they disappear. That happened many times. Do you remember how many Mike Howell have? They are 10 or 12, I think, in the election of 2011. Do you know how many live here in Ogden? Just John Johnson. Do you remember John Johnson? He's the guy running for every single election. He's my friend. Thompson, yes. Thompson, sorry. It's hard to speak in the public for me. Yeah, if we are involving in political thing, we have to continue. That is my point. Continue fighting for the point we think is value. For example, I don't like when some people run for the office, doesn't matter what, and they promise, I will do this one, I will do that one. They are in the office, and they don't do it. I like to speak the truth. Some people don't like it. Some people like. That is normal. My neighbor across the street, she's 81. She told me, Sebastian, half will hate you and half will like you. And I said, I don't want anybody hate me, But the point is, we need to fight for our ideas. That is why I am here. I am grateful, Lorraine, for the invitation, because I think I am not running next time. But the point is, I need to compare my wife. And she said, no more. I don't do a fundraiser. I don't do a fundraiser because I want to put the point. I don't want the people pay for my point. I financial my campaign both time myself. And the second time I received like 17, I don't remember, but a lot of money, but I don't ask money for the campaign. I just ask the people listen, they promise, and do it, And I know she is in the office right now. Miller, is your last name? I don't want to hurt any feeling, but if we promise something, let's do it. And I think there is the other candidate too for commissioning, Please, if you promise something, do it. Don't lie to us. That is the thing why my wife don't want it for me, run again. Thank you so much for your time.
My turn, right? All right, perfect. Well, the microphone turned out great for me, size-wise, okay. Thanks so much. All right, well, everybody, thank you so much for inviting me over. My name is Ignacio Valdez, and I'm the anchor of a show called The Nacho Show. So feel free to share out there or go to www.thenachoshow.com, and you will be able to find all sorts of things. And I had Jill Crawford join me a couple of weeks ago on the show, and we spoke a little bit about women in politics. And a few things that I mentioned on the show is that it is fantastic to have women in politics. I just love it. And a great example of that is Ann Milner here, which I admire so much. And she's been fantastic all these years being in office. And Jill Coffer, I'm sure she will be great, and yeah, just super grateful for allowing me to be here. And I was born and raised in Monterrey, Mexico. So go Rayados of Monterrey. Obviously, Luis Lopez is not going to agree with that because he cheers for another soccer team. But anyway. And okay, well, I came into the United States back in 2003. And then I obtained, I did everything legal. And I always have to brag about that. I spent, and I'm going to be honest here with you, I spent around $3,000 in attorney's fees and also to the BCIS. I got fingerprinted and I did things the right way as they should be because I am a follower of the law and I love doing that because if you follow the law, you are not going to have any trouble anywhere. Does that make sense? So anyway, I just love that perspective. And obviously those that are not illegal in the country, oh, well, I don't blame them because this is the greatest country in the world. They want to come here. And therefore, we need to make sure that we have great laws that allow others to come here the right way. Don't you agree with that? And it is fantastic. Yeah, clap. Yes. Let's do it. Yeah. So I'm a great believer of the system in America. I started the Nacho Show last year, and under Jamie Wanda, something like that. I always forget her last name, but she invited me to start a podcast with others, and I definitely joined because we want to portray the diversity that exists within the Republican Party. And obviously, to reflect, the Hispanic side of things, obviously, I stepped up to the plate and obviously, share my thoughts and feelings about politics in America. I started, well, before coming in, I mean, I didn't even like politics before. When I came to the US, growing up in Mexico, national TV was all about politics, and it was all about leftist ideologies, which oppress the Latino community. And that's a real problem that we have in Latin America. But one thing that you need to realize is that us Latinos, we do have a big heart. It is very soft. And I'm going to tell you, the left is very smart because they poke that heart. That's what they do. Does that make sense? And us, in the right way of things, we really need to make sure that also be as smart as the leftists, proclaiming truth and proclaiming the right way that our founding fathers founded this country on, which is the Constitution of the United States of America. And that's what I stand for. Reading that Constitution, reading the Bill of Rights, allowed me to understand how important that is to our country. And the left, they want to destroy it. So we must defend that Constitution, no matter who we are and where we are. Because when I became a US citizen in 2009, there was a beautiful flag just like this one, and there was a judge right in front of me, and I raised my hand to the square, and I said that I will protect the Constitution of the United States, so help me God, against foreign and domestic enemies. And that's what I am doing with my podcast. And that's what I am doing everywhere I go. Because it hurts me that others want to destroy America from within. And they are domestic enemies. And it hurts me so much because I immigrated here because of the Constitution, because I wanted to follow great politics. And that's why I'm here. Obviously, I want to, provide great for my family, and to have, I love the system that I enjoy here. The system that we have here in America, it benefits everybody. It doesn't just benefit only people of one color. It benefits everybody. It's benefited me. The United States of America, and this is a really cool analogy, just so, for you to think about it. And I've mentioned this in some of my shows, in some of my episodes. God created this earth. God knows. Oh my goodness, it's just an infinite knowledge, and He created the United States of America's system the same way that He created the earth. And I'm going to tell you how. Because why does everybody want to come here for? They want to better themselves. They want to be here because the system works for them. If you plant a seed into the ground, no matter what seed it is, put it into the ground, water it, fertilize it, and guess what? The seed is going to grow. And the earth doesn't care what type of color skin you are, doesn't care what politics you have, doesn't care about anything else. As long as you water the seed, you plant it right, you fertilize it, you take care of it, guess what? It will grow. It will grow. And I don't like it when the left says of systematic racism, no, it's not. The system works for everybody. It's worked for me. I'm an entrepreneur. I do have businesses, and I just totally love it here. And it is fantastic. Sorry if I exceeded the time. I apologize. Okay, anyway, then half an hour more, I guess. Okay, great. All right, well, thank you so much for inviting me. I definitely appreciate it. Thank you so much, and God bless you, and God bless America.
You've all been involved in politics. What were the barriers that keep other Latinos from participating or from voting? And I acknowledge here that the voting participation has expanded. Across the Latinos. That's a great thing. Continue to kind of sleeping giant. Big word politician. We'd love to see them participate. What in your mind are the factors that participation? How can you help? So that's what you want.
Okay, thank you. Can you repeat? Oh, I think I learned this one. No, yeah, this is stronger. It's okay. Yeah. Okay, I think the sample we make with Luis, participating in political things, show to many Hispanic living here in the county. I am not afraid, and I try to tell the same thing. Don't be afraid about anything. You are in the best place in the world, the safe place in the world. I said many times that for for the Spanish-speaking people I am meeting. I serve in the and the LDS Church for the Spanish-speaking branch. In that time, now is a word. All the time, I try to give the best sample we can, and I try to tell the people, go and vote. May your voice is really important for us. Y si quieren, les puedo decir en español, la voz de ustedes es lo más importante. How many people speak Spanish here? It's a lot. It's more than 30% now. That is my incursion with the Spanish speaking. I don't have any problem to speak about it, because if you raise in the dictatorship country, you will understand my feeling. My dad was in the Navy, I've been in the Navy, and I quit because I don't want to serve somebody when it's not fair, you know. That is why I say justice for all, you know. And I try to tell this the Spanish-speaking people. Doesn't matter if you don't have the money, if you are normal guy like me, I am a window cleaner, you know. Doesn't matter if who is the title for the people. I try to speak that one for every single Spanish speaking, you know. And we are really strong in the United States, especially here in the Weir County. Because who clean up your yard? Who clean up your windows? Who made your food? You know, that is the Spanish speaking people. I told the guys, don't be afraid, you know. I think I responded.
So I would say that a couple of things. One is probably just across the board, maybe some apathy to politics. I think that I agree with Sebastian. A lot of people in our community may be afraid, may not feel that they are ready, may not feel that they have what it takes to be on a stage that can be pretty scary. These stages can be scary. And so that is part of it, I think, as well. And, you know, and I think that, I think that it's very important to talk about how we can get more of the Hispanic community to get involved, to be civically involved. And that's part of what we're trying to do with the organization that I founded with the nonprofit, right? And that's why it stands for civic engagement, education and civic engagement. And we need help. Our organization needs help. Our goal for next year, the remainder of this year, next year, is to have a Hispanic Leadership Academy. For the first time, we've been focused for a while. We do a festival, a Hispanic festival at the Union Station. And last year, we brought close to 3,000 people. But because we're growing and because we're volunteers, it's hard. It's just really, really hard. Anybody that's been involved in nonprofits, right? Starting a nonprofit from scratch is hard. So we need help. We need help primarily with raising funding so that we can have this leadership academy, so that we can develop leaders, so we can help more people in the Hispanic community that want to get engaged and want to be involved, to give them the tools that they need, right? And I could talk about what this leadership academy program and the vision all day, but I can't, right? Because Lorraine is watching me closely. And then finally, what I'll say is, I think it's beyond getting involved politically or being involved civically. I think when I was talking a little bit at first, I talked about the divisions in our country, which I think are obvious that everybody can see. You know, 2 weeks ago, I was in Mexico in a trip led by Governor Spencer Cox in Mexico City and Guadalajara. And he spoke a lot about the Utah way. He spoke a lot about how Utah is different than other states in terms of our approach to treat people humanely, more humanely. And I really like that. And I felt that way since I lived in Utah. I felt that way since I've been here for 25 years, and I'm very proud about that. So what I would say is that it can start in other ways. It can start by, Sebastian has been kind of kidding about this, saying you need to learn Spanish. I won't say it quite that brush, but I'll say that would be great if you get an opportunity to learn more about the Hispanic culture if you haven't, right? Learning Spanish. I brought these flyers that I love to live here with you. Some of you here might know about this, and some of you might not. But this is an event that it's a folkloric Hispanic Mexican music dance group from the city of Guadalajara, right? This is an internationally world-renowned group. It's beautiful. And they're coming to Ogden on June 8th. They've never been to Ogden. They tour the United States every year, and they go to really important cities. They make it to Seattle, Chicago, Vegas, big cities. They're coming to Ogden this year. So I feel like it goes both ways. I feel like people in the mainstream American culture also needs to take a step forward and say, what can I do to get to know my neighbor better? What can I do to learn about this culture a little bit more? So I'll stop there because I think it's Ignacio's turn.
Well, these two fine gentlemen are fantastic. And I would definitely take the suggestion of Mr. Lopez about using his organization and do some outreach to the Hispanic community. I think Luis Lopez will definitely, I definitely would support if there's anything I can do to help you and your organization for civic duty. I will be more than happy to take part on that. I think that will be a fantastic partnership, and it definitely, well, just to learn more about the Hispanic culture and everything like that as a general knowledge, of culture. Obviously, we all do have our own cultures and customs and things like that from our forefathers that we all respect and love. And I highly encourage you to celebrate also your heritage is Scottish, or whatever. I've seen quite a few people in kilt, quite a few men with kilts, and I love it. It is fantastic. Gosh, I want to wear one. Pardon me? Yes. So anyway, yeah, definitely. It would be, yeah, because like these two fine gentlemen mentioned something important, that there's been some apathy about politics. I don't know. I feel that Hispanic has, in general, and I'm not speaking for myself because I know my grounds and I know what I stand for. However, generally speaking, it feels that the Hispanic has felt a little bit betrayed, as far as politics is concerned, and that they just needed to. Hispanics are conservative. They are, and they just don't know about it. And just like I mentioned before, there's so much information going on with the media telling them different information, so they just don't know where to go. They just need to learn things the right way. And like I said, partnering up with Mr. Lopez will definitely help. In a general consensus of politics. Obviously, and yeah, that would be my suggestion for that. Something.
Add one thing that I forgot also, of course, related to economics, right? So people in the Hispanic community, they're very hardworking people, and they have to work a lot, right? They work construction, service industry, restaurant industry, long hours, etc. And so it's just hard. It's also hard to become involved for that reason as well.
Republican man outside of two, right? A few of the in the audience, but I find this very interesting that this concept that I think working together truly comes from understanding one another. And as you know, I served as county commissioner here for 8 years, and towards the end of that, during that time, I met Luis over a few issues, but we never really communicated. And I think maybe that was partially the world telling us that we were different, right? That maybe, you know, I might be more conservative than him, or I might have different color skin, or whatever it was, that we were different. And I had a mutual friend later, after I left here, who came to me and said, "You really need to sit down with this guy and get to know him." And I just want you to know that was a life changer for me because of truly learning to understand. And I just want to encourage all of you to think about that a little bit and what kind of a difference we can make if we truly take the time to learn and understand each other. Because what I found out is we're an awful lot alike. I mean, scary a lot alike. To the point where, yeah, I mean, of course you have to point that. But my point is that because of that, I think we've been able to not only fix some things that we cared about, but we were able to truly enjoy a relationship. And I mean, I'll be honest, I have learned more about this. I finally took the time to really care and really listen. I got to point out that Senator Miller and so, and that is one of the things that I respect about each of them. I've gotten to know all of them just a little bit, not to the level of, I just appreciate those three because to see and hear things that are very real that we may not understand because of our corner of the world that we live in. And I just want you to know what a blessing it's been to me to understand this culture. I got to meet these people, and I hope that this is not just a flyer that you grab and makes it into the wastebasket. This is going to be one of the coolest events that you'll ever met these people and know what's coming. And one of you mentioned the 30-something% Hispanic population. We have to bridge that gap, and it really just comes from understanding. We have to bridge that gap in order to be successful. And I even made it to Guadalajara. And I'll tell you, now all of this, what he's talking about, how this city could intertwine our two cultures. And I could have never understood that without seeing it. Effort to make a little time out of our lives to make something work.
I'm Jamie Randall, University of Illinois. So when I heard you're not still here, but I'm